If you watch my Simon's Quest videos, you might remember I left a few loose ends kind of hanging. The first of them was with this sliding wall thing. I was trying to show off a glitch that I remember. It has to do with, like, you have to have the edge of the screen kind of squirmed up there. I don't think that's enough either. Whoops. Okay, I guess I can't remember how to do it. You pretty much have to have the edge of the screen about like this and get the block to force you off the screen and put you into another mansion. Not sure how I ever did it in the first place. Oh well. Turns out I had the right idea, but I was doing it in the wrong direction. You have to get it to slide you off the right side of the screen. And then it pushes you into this empty version of one of the last mansions. It creates a couple of strange opportunities too. If you exit through what would normally be the main door, you get teleported to a spot back in the mansion you were in, high up in the right corner. And you can actually use this as a kind of a shortcut. It gets you pretty close to the room, well, the gold room where the orb is at. There's another way you can go. You can take a high road and exit through another side of the screen, and it puts you outside of the mansion that you started in. You can use that as a way to get back to the beginning of the mansion if you want, or you can just use that to get out of the mansion when you're ready. And then carry on like normal. Two separate times I mentioned this spot in the game where you can cheat and jump up on this cliff that you're not supposed to be able to. And it's kind of a shortcut to a much further spot in the game, but whether or not it's an advantage is kind of a dubious point. I'm back in the part of the game where, like, you see this cliff here, this is where things change. Bad stuff over there, good stuff over there. Because it's supposed to be a one-way. Like, you're not supposed to be able to go right over that cliff. This cliff, I used to use my NES Advantage, which had turbo, to keep whipping, and then also hold the jump. And there's a certain, like, if you're whipping and jumping at the same time, you can get a tiny boost, and it will glitch you up on top of there so that you can take a shortcut to get to the other side of the world. But it's not very reliable, and you die multiple times in that water. It turns out, when I went back and tried, it's actually a lot easier to do and much more reliable than I ever would have expected. All it takes is a little timing. If you jump at the last possible second and hit your whip immediately afterward, it's really not a big deal. No turbo buttons are actually necessary. To actually take advantage of this, it's a good idea to bring along a bunch of extra laurels so that you can cross the swamps in reverse. Otherwise, you're not likely to make it very far. Lastly, if you're like me and you just completely miss the staircase that takes you down to the path that leads to the ruins of Dracula's castle, you will eventually wind up in a dead-end area. If you follow it to the end, you'll see it drops off and it looks like it just leaves you stranded. If you didn't bring laurels, you wouldn't be able to survive going through the swamp. And it turns out there's actually an invisible staircase, and I think this is the only place in the game where there is such a thing. So that's just a few things that I kind of skimmed over in my playthrough, and I just kind of wanted to go back and cover them in detail.